What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to be repainting this Genyodectes. I don't know, hang on a second, hang on, let me look up Wikipedia. Genyodectes. All right, well, what's his Greek meaning? Hold on, let's see. Jawbite. I like that better. I can pronounce that better. Today, I'll be repainting Jawbite. And I'm not in the mood for any complicated repaint, so I think what I'm just going to do is keep it simple and kind of enhance the factory colors in plastic and just sprinkle on a little Rule of Cool along the way. But who knows what will happen. We're just going to have some fun and roll with it. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I'm going to trim away these pointless teeth that go all the way to the back of the jaw. Now, I am no paleontologist, but those seem useless back there, and for some reason the sculptors at Mattel have this weird habit of adding unnecessary teeth on these carnivore figures. But, you know, no worries. We'll just take them off. A couple of swipes with the knife will get rid of them, and then we can start to sling some paint. So the first color to go down will be a dark gray to try and match that plastic color that his body is molded in. I kind of envisioned that his entire body will be gray, and then he'll have that really nice splash of bluish teal running down the back, and then all of the orange deco stripes. So I'll just thin that gray paint down and apply a couple of thin coats. With all of that done, now I'm going to jump in with some light gray, and I'll dry brush all of the raised areas to bring out all the details in the sculpt. Like I said before, I wanted to continue that teal blue color and run it all the way down his back. So for that, I'm going to grab some Apple Barrel Laguna color here, and I don't have this particular color in my high-end paint selection, so I'm gonna have to turn to Apple Barrel for this. But I'm not gonna worry about getting the color matching perfectly because I am gonna paint over that factory blue plastic on the figure anyways, so I'll just try and get it relatively close because I'm gonna add a bunch of little details and stuff to the sculpt, so it won't even matter if it actually matches. But I'll just thin that teal down in my wet palette and then go in and just start to pick out all the little area that I want to have that teal blue down on. Normally I would airbrush this, but I don't feel like cleaning my airbrush out today, so I'm just going to do it all by hand. And with that base color done, we need to go back in and kind of get all the highlights and all the details to pop. So I'll just go back over with the Laguna mixed with a little bit of white to create a lighter highlight color, and then I'll just dry brush all of the raised areas to make that texture pop. I'll finish things off by grabbing some blue wash, and I'll wash it all over the teal areas to bring that brightness down just a hair, kind of blend everything together, and it will create some shading down in all of the recessed areas. I'll then give it a blast with my heat gun to dry it up, and that is it for the body color. And now we can move on and do the rest of the deco and details. For the orange deco, I am going to use dry rust, which is essentially just a dark rusty orange color, and I will paint that all over the existing deco on the face because it has that awful looking printed on texture that just kind of looks odd to me. So I'll just cover it up and then add a few extra stripes, and then I'll continue all of the stripes down the back, and I'll kind of fade it out as I get to the end of the tail. So this is a pretty straightforward thing where you kind of get to be creative, but after that, this is what he looks like with all of his orange deco on. And with the orange stripes done, now I'll go back in with some of that Laguna, and I'll randomly pick out a few scales here and there just to add some color variation on the skin. And he's got some really tiny eyes, and they are very difficult to paint, but I managed to get some yellow up in those eyeballs and then add a little tiny black dot. And then I'll go in with some red, and I'll dry brush over the raised areas on the crest as well as that ridge line down his back. Once that's done, I'll hit the claws with some ivory white, and I'll give them a little wash with some thinned down transparent burnt umber. I'll then paint the inside of the mouth with some flesh tone. I'll add a flesh shade, and then I'll paint his stubby little blunt teeth with some off-white. And of course, we got to lock that paint in with some matte varnish, and normally I would use my airbrush for this, but I am just not in the mood to clean it today. I don't know what's going on, so I'll just do it all by hand. But once all that paint is locked in and dried, this little guy is ready to rock and roll. So as always, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching. Hopefully you got something out of this video and it has helped inspire you in some way, shape, or form. If you give this or any repaint a shot, remember to tag me over on Instagram at the Jurassic Park Compound, because I always love seeing the repaints that you guys can come up with. For more Jurassic related content, you know where to find it. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I'll see you around the compound.